Guys are doing well. Happy Friday. So it's funny because right here I'm looking at this camera right here on Instagram, and I don't know if it's some crazy face filter or something like a Snapchat filter is going on, but I'm like, dude, like, why do I look so different in this camera? And this camera looks really clear. I'm like, am I getting old? Am I getting more wrinkles? Is it the tan I got in Fort Lauderdale? I don't know, right? But it's tripping me out a little bit. It's throwing me off a little bit. So I got to be 100% real with you guys, okay? Other than that, though, hopefully you guys are having a great Friday, okay? So what I'm going to talk about today is 10 lessons learned in Fort Lauderdale at the International Society of Sports Nutrition Conference, okay? So if you guys are health and fitness coaches, you guys should be going to this conference. I'm getting a phone call here and it's messing up. Okay, we're good now. So you guys should be going to this conference every single year, and they have it in Fort Lauderdale going forward, I think, for a couple of years. So it's a great excuse to go out there, okay? And it's called the International Society of Sports Nutrition, okay? All right, I'm good on here. All right, it's throwing me off again. But you guys should be going there if you're health and fitness coach. It's a great community, great content, and you always got to keep learning and building up your network, which is what I'm going to talk about right now. Is the 10 things that we learned in Fort Lauderdale at the International Society of Sports Nutrition Conference, and I'm going to give you guys. I'm not going to give you guys all 10, right? But I'll give you guys 5 really good networking tips. And then there's a reason why I'm not going to give you all 10, okay? Because I want you guys to go listen to the podcast, right? I'm going to be 100% honest and not waste your time, but it's going to be worth it, okay? All right, let me pull these up really quick right here. Instagram, you guys can hear me when I'm saying this, okay? So the very first lesson learned right here is connections, okay? So with connections, guys, if you guys ever go to a conference or something like that, you cannot have the mindset just to go there with like receiving the content or because there's a speaker that you idolize or there's a certain topic you want to learn, right? Yeah, that's great and all, but that's rookie mistakes. You got to sit there and also go to build your network, right? Build new relationships and deepen further relationships, okay? Now, the second one on here is, obviously I'm talking to you guys, health and fitness coaches, right? Is you guys should have meals already delivered to your guys' hotel or your Airbnb or something like that, right? Because again, number one, you guys are trying to stay in shape, stay fit too, just because you guys are at a conference, right? So you guys are practicing what you preach. Secondly, you guys don't have to spend an arm and a leg. You guys know how inflation right now is bringing food up the roof right now to where it's like, man, like you're going to charge me that for a meal. Okay. So, it's already, a lot of money to travel, to conferences and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to help you guys out to save money and still stay on your guys' nutrition program. Okay. The next thing is find a local gym. So again, I'm speaking to health and fitness professionals, right? Find a local gym, do some research before you guys even go to the conference. So number one, you guys stay on your guys' training program, keep your mental and physical sanity as well too. And secondly, if you guys have a decent following, you guys can call the gym beforehand and ask for the manager and be like, hey, I will give you a couple of posts in exchange for 3 or 4 days of a free pass or something like that, or I'll put some stories on there and tag you in it, right? It's one of those things you just sit there and ask somebody and they can say yes, they can say no. It doesn't hurt you. Worst comes to worst, you pay for their trial pass, but at least you guys can get a free gym membership out of it, right? The fourth thing is continue to work, okay? So with continuing to work, again, just because you guys go to a conference doesn't mean you guys put your guys' business on pause, right? So you guys can sit there and get 2 deep work hours. Maybe the conference starts at 9 o'clock. Okay, you guys can work from 7 to 9, and then maybe it ends at 5 o'clock. Cool, you guys can work from then maybe 5 to 7. Then you guys can go have your pleasure and have some fun out there. But just because you guys are at a conference doesn't mean you guys hit the pause button. Okay, you guys can still take phone calls, still post content, still get back to your guys' online clients and everything else. Okay. Now, the fifth thing is be a giver and add value, right? So too many people go to conferences and they have that mentality where it's like they want to be a taker, right? Instead, have the mindset of being a giver, right? Instead of a taker, and having that added value mindset, okay? It will take you a lot further if you guys have the mindset of how can I help somebody else out instead of what's in it for me and how could this person help me out, okay? So guys, that was basically like the 5 networking tips and lessons learned right there from the International Society of Sports Nutrition Conference. There's 5 more that we give you guys, right? Another one is how do you cover your expenses when you go to all these conferences, right? That's a really good one, okay? So if you guys want to listen to the rest of this, it's really 20 minutes of an audio, or it can be on YouTube as well too. But it's definitely worth listening with these 10 networking tips that you guys can put into action right away. So all you have to do is below, if you're watching on Facebook, comment podcast, right? And if you guys don't want to comment that, those on Instagram too that are watching, you guys can go to our link tree and click the link there, and that'll get you to our podcast. You guys can also search all major platforms: Spotify, YouTube, Apple, SoundCloud, all that stuff. Dynamic Lifestyle Podcast. I almost didn't spell that right, and then you guys were going to laugh at me. So you guys can look at that on all major platforms, okay? All right, guys, so hopefully these 5 tips I guys gave you guys on what we learned, the lessons, and the networking tips helped out. Put them into practice whenever you guys go out to a conference again. There's nothing more valuable, in my opinion, than literally exchanging eye contact information, shaking people's hands, and that energy transfer to really build rapport, right? And really just connect with somebody. This social media stuff is great, right? It really is. But at the end of the day, going back to some of these basics where you're looking at somebody and shaking their hand and asking them questions and really having them feel like seen, heard, and understood, man, nothing replaces that, okay? So remember that tip too as a health and fitness professional, all right, guys? Other than that, go listen to the podcast, Dynamic Lifestyle Podcast, all major platforms. If you're watching on Facebook, comment the word podcast. If you guys are on stories or Instagram, you guys can go to our link tree. You guys can click the link there, all right, guys? Have a blessed weekend. Keep doing what you guys are doing. I'm out. Talk to you guys soon.